Namaste, my YouTube family. This is Aga again with Balance Lab. I have some wonderful things to share with you today. I have been working quite a bit for the past 3 months. I'm in Chicago. I'm on this amazing beach, gay beach. You can see the colorful rainbow in the lighthouse in the back. It's pretty spacious. I love coming here. There are a lot of people playing volleyball, and it's just so beautiful and serene. I've been working continuously for a few weeks, doing a lot of quantum healing hypnosis sessions, some energy sessions, and there is magic happening, and I think that it's important to tune in, not just post the sessions on my YouTube channel, but also share with you my perspective, my findings. And the reason why I would love to do that is because I know a lot of people are still living in fear, and they're afraid to get into hypnosis, or they think they cannot get into trance. And there's a lot of inhibitions in the mind, expectations, stories, things like that that can prevent a successful session. And there is nothing to be afraid of. Trance is an amazing state. Once you experience it, it's like the highest of highs, natural high that you can achieve. And you will love it. You would want to go back to it. It's such a wonderful journey. So if you are considering getting hypnosis and maybe you have some trauma to heal, this is a great tool because it's a safe space for you to look at things from perspective of an observer. And you can go into that space as an adult version of you. And let's say if you are coming across an event from your childhood where you didn't feel safe, or maybe you experienced abuse, you can intervene. It's an amazing space because in quantum field, there's no chronology, there's no logic. You can stretch time. So you can actually slow down frame after frame of the events, and you can walk into it and you can rearrange that space. And when you do that, there is a release happening in the body. The trauma that's stored in the body gets a chance to be released. This is called myoclonic release. Because trauma is not in the mind. Actually, the experience lives with you for many years. So if you have been trying other forms of therapy and they haven't been working for you, I highly recommend trying quantum healing hypnosis or just trance state, altered state. You can first do some self-hypnosis. There are plenty of videos. I also have videos, guided meditations, free on my channel. If you follow instructions, you will get to an altered state, so you will have an idea how it might feel like. So it's good to meditate, to practice on your own and get a feel of what it might be like when you are in an altered state. The important part about the practitioner and the client is that qualified practitioner can ask right questions, things that you would never think of yourself, about your background, how you process information, what are your forms of dealing with trauma. If you dissociate, maybe you package that memory or packaged long time ago and you put it in a container and you haven't looked at it for many years. It's still there. You're carrying that energy within you. If you have unhealed trauma from childhood, these little versions of you, these children, are always around you. They're invisible, but they rule your reality. They actually are behind every decision that you're making. So quantum field allows you to step into these layers of reality and rearrange some of those things. We are born into this world with a premise that physical reality is real, flesh is real, what you touch is real. But in fact, from physics, quantum physics, we already know that less than 1%, much less, is actually material, right? And energy, ether, creates matter. So what we call nothingness, it's not empty space, it's not nothing, it creates matter. So nothing actually matters. And the thoughts, the emotions, the state of beings that you cultivate, that is producing the reflection in your reality. So if you're focusing on a reflection, you're completely missing the point, because a reflection is like a reflection in a mirror. It's not real, it's just a biofeedback mechanism. It lets you know where you are in a moment, but you cannot change something in a reflection in a mirror. That doesn't work this way. You have to shift the perspective into who is creating and from which place in order to make a difference. So a lot of people that I see have trauma, right? And it's funny actually, because I have people from all walks of life, you know. I have a lot of men, I have a lot of people with a past, you know, felons, some criminals, drug dealers. I have people from Wikipedia, I have people with money, I have people without money. Fantastic stories for fantastic beings. And they come with expectations, or they come with some kind of attachment to an outcome. And you know, we work through these layers. There is a pre-talk that's about an hour and a half. So we prepare the consciousness to step aside for a time being, so that we can have a different connection with ourselves. And I can tell you that if you haven't done hypnosis, or if you haven't been in altered states of consciousness where you allowed yourself to suspend your beliefs, your critical mind, you have no idea how amazing that is. And there's absolutely nothing to fear, because this is controlled environment. It's not with substances. It's not dangerous, okay? And what you can discover is so magnificent. You can heal. I've had clients heal their body in one session, entities, beings working on them. I've had a couple recently where a woman had a lot of trauma from her childhood, and she had a hard time getting into past lives. We did some healing from her childhood stories because that was necessary. And then her partner came next day, and he was able to do something what we call in a quantum healing field, surrogate healing. When client connects really deeply, we are able to scan family members and find out where are the blockages in the body, because obviously events from the past, unprocessed, unintegrated in a positive way, we carry this energy. So this in a quantum field looks like congested dark energy. A lot of people have it in the chest, in the belly. So he was able to do surrogate healing for for this woman, for his mother. He had an amazing journey. I'm in the process of actually editing a video from this session. You will be able to listen to it soon. I was wondering if any of you knows good software to edit out silence, because some of the videos are longer and there's some periods of silence when client is collecting information before he or she speaks up, and I have to edit it. It takes quite a bit. So if you know any software, people are having fun. If you know any software that I could use with iMovie, that would be great. I found one software with that works with Premiere, Adobe Premiere, and I can download it actually, but I was thinking maybe there is like a different way, easier way for me to do it, because I don't know Premiere. I would have to learn it a little bit in order to apply a plugin. There is like a plugin, but if you know a software or plugin I could use with iMovie, that would be very helpful. Or if you would want to collaborate with me on that, and maybe get a free session, if you do some work, if you help me edit some videos, I would love that. That cuts my time, and I can focus on, teaching more, sharing more, rather than doing like a tedious work of making sure that the videos look good for you. So there's nothing to fear, okay? There's so much to gain. There's so much possibilities, so many possibilities in the quantum field. Like I said, there's no chronology. There's no logic there. There's no timelines the way that we think. It's almost like what you think of as a movie, you can cut into pieces. You can look at it in front of you like vignettes, like pictures, and you can rearrange them. And this will be a completely different story that comes out from this new arrangement. So you are purely creating from a state of consciousness, not from any events that took place in your life. So you're coming to the state where events don't define you anymore. No in this physical realm defines you. You tap into the source, and that is an ecstatic way of living. Oftentimes after I have a client, I'm in trance myself because I'm used to being in trance. This is like normal for me to be in trance when I'm in theta and gamma frequency of the brain, when everything is in sync, my body, my brain. I can't tell you how blissful that is. Imagine functioning in this way, speaking to people, making decisions, creating. It is so amazing. Everything can coexist, right? Like we have all kinds of groups of people. This universe has no shortage of space, has no shortage of resources. So when you start living from that space, there's no competition, there is no judgment. All of that stuff is just out of the picture. And it's not boring. You tap into parts of you never even had idea existed. Obviously that requires some guts, right? Because going there, giving up some beliefs or suspending some beliefs so you can have that journey, for a lot of people with trauma that don't trust others, or people who hold on to their ego so much, their self-righteousness, they would need to give up that kind of control, because it's not really a control, it's just insistence. It's insisting on resisting, going with the flow, going with the bigger version of you. Part of quantum healing is connecting to something what you can call your spiritual self, higher self, subconscious. It's this part of you that is not attached to the body. It's kind of like overseer, right? It sees what you're doing, and it's not attached to an outcome. It observes you, it can communicate with you. But oftentimes, because we are so conditioned to listen to the physical mind, we are confusing these voices. Like for example, today, and also I get a lot of clients with schizophrenia or multiple personality disorders, all kinds of voices, mood swings, or people who have been in therapy for years unsuccessfully, and they're hearing voices. For example, today I was mailing something, I was at the post office, and there was a young man who was walking inside the office and talking about New Earth, like he was channeling information about the New Earth. There is New Earth being built, and that comes up in sessions a lot as well, that there is this energy split, multiple versions of Earth, where I exist in a beautiful world, someone next to me, we're sharing that quantum field, that illusion of Earth is existing in a maybe much different way, in a way that's very limited. So if you are that person, okay, this session is amazing for you, because you can open space for this voice to come through without you trying to logically understand it. You are receiving downloads or communication from different parts of you. When you give it space, it has an opportunity to come out, to actually be recorded, and then you can process it later with a qualified professional. So it's important to recognize that what we consider mental illnesses, it's really not an illness at all. It's mostly the aspect that has been suppressed, compressed, is surfacing, okay? But because we filter it through societal norms, expectations, fear from other people around us, it comes out in a way that's not very balanced, that just like, burps of information, bursts of information here and there. But in the quantum field, when you leave your consciousness aside, the voice finally has a stage and can come out undisturbed. So this is called channeling, right? Maybe you have had experiences like that and you're like, oh, I'm just hearing voices, or maybe that's doctor told you that and you're taking pills in order to suppress that. It's not a good idea long term. Find a practitioner. So if you want to look in your area for someone who can facilitate session like this, go into quantumhealers.com. I'll post the link below this video so you can actually find someone. Excuse me. There's not that many of us all over the world, but there is a website. You can find someone. Excuse me. Woo! So much joy. I'm drinking some matcha. You can find a practitioner in your area, or you can have a session online if you connect with someone and you feel like you can trust them, because trust is essential, right? Because when you are stepping in a quantum field, you're kind of letting go of your beliefs about reality. What is real? What is good? What is bad? Who I am? All of the stuff that we believe in, right? It's like stepping into deep waters. There will be some safety mechanism from the ego, from a conscious mind, to stop you from going there. So you need good guidance in order to make sure you can take a deep plunge. And it's so worth it. It's not worth for you to suffer, even if you think that it's expensive or you have some kind of other dialectic about it. Drop it. Consider your well-being, because you're living in this multi-dimensional reality, only scratching the surface, right? Like physical reality, I often use this example of a wall. It's like looking at the paint on the wall, but the actual wall is made up of many different things and layers. This is what makes the wall. If you're just going to focus on the color of the paint, the physical aspect, you're completely missing the point. So I hope this is making some sense, and you're getting excited about that, because altered state, this is where the truth is. Okay, we have different wavelengths in our brain, and when you only use alpha beta, which is like right now I'm in alpha is slight relaxation, I'm focusing on you, and like the background of my world is slightly blurry, right? I'm aware of it, but I'm not focused on it. Then you have delta, sleep. Most people fluctuate between alpha, beta, delta, but there are at least two states that we know of that science is able to measure: theta and gamma. So I mostly function in gamma. Gamma is awareness and relaxation at the same time. This is like a genius state when you are not blocking the information flowing through you, through your body. Your body is like a proxy. Your body has antennas all around that is streamlining consciousness. Okay, so you want to be in a sync, body and the brain. And when you're in trance, you will feel that. It's a distinct feeling. Everything is in a state of flow. So you stop perceiving your body as a conglomerate of different organs and different functions. It becomes a cohesive field. That's when you know you're in holistic state, theta or gamma. So theta is associated with hypnosis. That's what we're talking about. Deep meditation, dreaming, daydreaming, between consciousness and unconscious when you go to bed. So oftentimes when people come to sessions, energy sessions, I try to throw in elements of hypnosis, and there's some people who will drop, not that many, but about 20%. They just go unconscious and they receive the energy, which is all great. But try, if you are doing some guided meditations or you going to a healer for energy, for Reiki, try to stay aware. So there is a way for you to stretch your consciousness so that you can hear the person guiding you, you can follow the sensations in the body, you can be so relaxed to the bone, you're melting, but you're still aware. And in that space, bring up an event that from the past that is triggering you, and step into this event and rearrange the situation, rescue that little baby that that wasn't loved, wasn't supported at that moment. You will forever change the vibration of that situation, and that event will not haunt you anymore. I guarantee you. So these are the possibilities. And when people are in trance, when they come to quantum healing, these healings, they happen fast, because there is no time-space continuum in this realm. It's like a web. A quantum field is like a web. You have access to information instantaneously. This already has been proven by science, that information travels faster than light. So if you are in the right state of consciousness, there is no secrets. There is no shortage of tools. Anything is possible. Absolutely anything is possible. That is relevant for you, right? Because it's not like we're going to that state and we're looking to manifest lottery numbers. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going to that state so that you can rewire yourself. You can rebalance, you can reset all your systems. And when you are reset, it's like you are reborn. And from that rebirth, you look at your external reality, wow, completely differently, right? Like everything turns 180 degrees. What you perceived as something threatening, it becomes a blessing. You are not engaged in others people's business. You start vibrationally noticing where you belong and what is not your space. Things become effortless. You can use the energy that you used to use to maintain sanity because of the trauma. You're freeing that energy. And with this energy, you can do so much. You can learn new things, You can freaking learn new language. You can travel. You can write a book. You can learn instrument. Like a baby, right? That has so much capacity, because the difference between us and children is that children, they don't carry these layers, right? From adults, from this three-dimensional life on earth. They're here to explore. So think of it that way. Going back to that playfulness, right? Going back to that state where your curiosity, your joy guides you, okay? Kids, don't think of like how much money they're going to make if they're gonna, create a drawing or art piece or anything for that matter. It's excitement that drives them, right? We're innately not assholes, okay? You're not born like an asshole or broken person. You're conditioned because you believed in these stories. So in the quantum field, you can drop these stories and be free. So if you want to be free, put yourself first, because nobody else will. Trust me, nobody else will give you a stamp of approval or go ahead and do this thing. You have to do it for yourself. You have to recognize that you are valuable. Creation wouldn't exist without you. You are essential. I'm quoting Bashar here because he put it so well, right? One last example that I use in my sessions. If you're looking at a tree, right? Nature, trees, they're never in a state of undeservability. They never question their deservability. They never question their worthiness, right? So that's why they don't pretend that they're not connected. But humans or humanoids are so involved in pretending that they're disconnected, okay? You can't be disconnected, okay? Everything is interconnected. That's why you can even have that experience of everything else in the universe or in this visible and invisible spectrum. You cannot exist in a vacuum outside of everything else. So if you understand that, you would be like a tree that is able to get all the resources from the earth, the soil, from the sun. But if the tree had that conscious ability that we have to question its deservability, you know what would happen, right? It would create an experience of limitation, and the tree would eventually decay and become a food, like a biomass for other forms of life, which is okay, right? Nothing goes to waste in the universe, but this is not the purpose of the tree, and also this is not your purpose, right? If that makes sense to you, think about that. How are you spending your time? How are you investing? Where are you investing your thoughts? Because you are still creating. Everything that you're experiencing is a result of your subconscious brewing these experiences. You can't blame it on your parents forever and ever. You have to break that cycle if you want to be free. You want to take full responsibilities for where you are at the moment, and you can learn from nature, right? I stop questioning my deservability because since I feel disconnected, I must have been connected first, right? You cannot create from the place of disconnectedness. It's just completely impossible. So I hope this was helpful and encouraging. I just feel so blessed. These sessions, they put me in such amazing states. Often when clients leave, I have my own journey because I'm giving them suggestions. Then I'm in a trance state. I go under and I have my own journey. So this is like the most blissful experience. So much love in the quantum field for you to heal. I hope you can feel it. I hope you give yourself a chance. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm always happy to share. I will be leaving for Asia soon on the 26th of this month, so you'll probably see on my Instagram some photos of a crazy lady on a bike, because I'm going on a bike trip. It's gonna be a very active trip, and then I'm going to Laos. But I'll probably create like a fun video, adventure video, because that's what gives me joy, right? I do a lot of work and I'm writing a book. I feel like it's better than creating a course. And I just feel like that's where my consciousness can be most valuable and fun and adventuresome, because I also like humor, and I feel like teaching and preaching, maybe this is not what I want to do. So I recorded a lot of material for courses online, but I realized I think writing will be better. So please send your support. And if you have any topics you would like me to talk about, I'll be happy to address it. Love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, night, wherever you are. See you soon. Namaste.